Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give a big Mad Monster Expo welcome to James Marsters!
There we go. Hey, beautiful people.
How you
Two things before we start. One, I'm so glad I have a microphone right now because I've lost my voice. This helps a lot. So my apologies to anybody who's come in line, and we didn't have to have as big of a conversation as I usually like to have. I just start coughing if I talk too much. The other thing is I like to take a little video of anybody cosplaying from any of the shows that I've been on, and then I put that together and put it on social media. But I like to give them a big round of applause at the end of the little video that I do. So if it's okay with you guys, when I say action, can I film you and you just raise your hands like the Panthers just won the Super Bowl or something? Yeah. Cool, is that cool?
Sir.
We love you!
Okay, thank you. You'll all be on my Instagram tonight.
Aww.
Well, thank you for joining us here. The microphone. Oh, there we go.
Keep that in mind, baby. I need it.
Well, thank you for joining us here this weekend and for taking part in this Q&A. We'll get out to you guys pretty quickly here with your questions, so have your hand nice and high so we can see you.
Yeah, and by the way, you can ask me anything that you want. Or try to embarrass me.
Okay.
It's impossible. I'm shameless, so bring it. I don't promise to ask anything that you ask, answer anything you ask, but you can try whatever.
Alright, I got you.
Well, let me get two boring questions out of the way before we get to the fun questions for the audience. First of all, what first kind of inspired you to want to be a performer? And I say performer because you don't just act, you also sing as well too.
Yeah, I've been playing in bars since I was 13 years old. I would only play James Taylor songs then. He was the best back then. I remember I was 10 years old and I was doing a musical called The Me That Nobody Knows. It was actually a really good script. It was just inner city kids writing monologues about their life, and then Broadway songwriters had written songs based on those monologues, and that was the show. And so I was singing a song called Light Sings All Over the World, and I was kind of, this is the front of the stage is called the apron, and I was up down on the apron singing my little song, the little 10-year-old Jimmy Marsters, with my fuzzy hair, and it was going really well. And it just occurred to me that the audience and me and the rest of the cast who were backstage, we were all basically in one room. I mean, there was these divisions, but they weren't really divisions. And there was a sense of connectedness with everybody. We were all doing our part to try to have a good evening together. And I just got bit. Yeah, and I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life.
Nice. Now, you've had a lot of really fun and cool roles that you've done in shows you've appeared in over the years, whether it be Buffy or youve. What do you look for when you're going after a project, when you're going out for a part?
I just want to read a script that I want to turn the page. There are certain things I don't want to do. I don't want to be the other guy. Like the guy, that thankless role of the boyfriend who the audience does not want her with him, they want her with the other guy. It doesn't matter how good the other guy is, it's just don't ever be. No matter how much they want to pay you, like it's not worth it. I don't want to do anything with sexual violence.
Yeah.
I've passed up a lot of stuff around that. Even if the script is saying something good about the subject, I just find it just too stressful to go through that on the day when we film.
Yeah. All right. right, let's go ahead and open up some
Yeah, who's very
questions
brave?
out here. So if you raise your hand up nice and high, we'll go with you right here front row first.
I'm sorry, do we not have a microphone? You're gonna have to shout at me. Oh, yay, we have a mic. We're gonna work you to death.
Hi, thank you. We all love you so much.
Love you too, man.
Love you. Love your podcast. I will tell you that Buffy the Vampire Slayer got me through a lot. Like, it was a stressful time, new mom, everything, and I looked forward to watching it, and it was just my heart. But anyway, you were so vulnerable and strong at the same time. So what method did you use to get that vulnerability? My favorite scene is when Buffy sacrifices herself and you just hit the ground. And you're not saying anything, but your physicality in that moment was like chilling. So what kind of things do you do to prepare for that?
You know, that's a good question. I've not been asked that before. There's a thing called the method, which I wasn't trained in. I was trained at Juilliard, where it's very, very old-fashioned acting. The method gets a lot of derision, but it's actually very simple. It's just you use your imagination to create the reality that your character is in, and you have to put some thought into it and make it very detailed. Kind of like you're making a house, like a little doll house to play in, and the more detailed, the more fun the game is. And once you've constructed that reality, you can just kind of live in it. And if you do it right, you get to a point where you really can't make a mistake because you're really just in it. You're not faking it. You're not having to think of what to do. You're just like there. And so I had a long time to build a little Sunnydale. And in my little head, there's a little Spike, and there's a little Buffy and Spike. They love each other. So then all I had to do was imagine her falling to her death. And that's Jesus. That little town is still in my head, and I could cry right now. Yeah.
I just wanted to know, it's not anything deep like hers, but fun question about Spike.
Hey, do me a favor. Just eat that microphone like a rock star. Just put your lips on it. Yeah, baby.
Hi.
Hey, Charlotte. What's up?
Did you get to keep your coat from Spike? His iconic jacket.
The costume department said if I wanted to steal it, they wouldn't rat me out. But I said no. I was very proud. I said I used to produce theater, and one of my least favorite things was actors who stole my stuff. And I also thought, what am I going to do with that, man? Like, am I going to wear it around town? People are like, you can't move on. Like, wear it late at night, see if I still got the mojo. Or even I'll put it on a mannequin so people can touch it when they come over my house. Like my friends are like plumbers and electricians, and they do not care about this part of my life. And if I did that, they would never. I'd be like, oh my God. And so I said no. And then 3 days later, I read that 20th Century Fox sold it to a collector for $250,000. And I was like,
Take that.
like I was at that time, I had a son, and I had adopted my niece to raise. So I had 2 kids, and I'm an actor, you know. So it all worked out, but I could have used that money. So that's what you do to go, James. You sell it. You know.
Right.
So, I'm Jennifer. As much as I love Spike, watching Buffy, there is another role, John Hart, that I love.
Yeah.
And I have a question because when I see you act, I see the emotion through everything that you do, especially through like Drusilla and stuff like that. Which do you find more, I don't want to say the word taxing because that sounds negative, but when you're doing John Hart, even though it was a shorter role, or when you're doing Spike, which one was a little maybe more emotionally, I guess took more of your energy, more of you to do?
It depends. I'm dying. I'm giving you everything right now. It depends on which Spike we're talking about. Because like Spike without a soul, evil Spike, easy peasy, man. Because you don't have to care about anybody when you're evil. You don't have to go through. When you play a good person, you're always trying to save people. They're always complaining that you're not saving them correctly, and you're dredging up some childhood trauma so that the story has weight, and you know it's just. But when you're a villain, you just lurk. Sat in the shadows, waiting for the hero to come running by and sweat, and you try to save people. You jump out of the shadows and pop in the head and go home. And so the beginning of Spike was, you're talking about emotional cost. The beginning of Spike was totally easy. I just had to get over the idea that I'm having a blast killing innocent people. I like to think of myself as a good person, so that's one that I had not really gotten my head around, but once I did, then it was really easy. And when Spike got a soul, it was really hard. That sent me to therapy, actually. But I got a good therapist, and that's why I'm smiling today. Yeah, I think anyone who goes through life probably could deserve a little bit of therapy at least. So John Hart has a soul, but you can't see it. He's just horrible. Yeah, he loves Jack, but John is the evil side of Jack. John is trying to pull the hero back into his darker days before he became a hero, trying to lure him back to that. So I would say John Hart was just as easy as the beginning of Spike, and much easier than the end of Spike. Yeah.
Hey James, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
Love Spike. Glad he was not killed after the 2 episodes originally. Person over there stole my question for the trench coat if you still had it. But my question is for Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
How did you come to become voice for Zamasu? And
by the way, it's Zamasu or Zamasu.
Yeah.
Because in Japanese, there's no what do they call that? Stresses. Like in an English word, there's one syllable that's stressed, but in Japanese, there's no stress. So in Japanese, it's Zamasu. And so we hear it and we interpret it, so never get in a fight over which one it is. So I was in a movie, Dragon Ball Evolution, that was horrible. Absolutely embarrassing. I'm a Dragon Ball fan, it broke my heart. And when I would come to conventions, I would constantly be having to explain to people that, yes, I know it sucks. People like bring a picture of Piccolo, that was the character I played in the movie. They bring him because they didn't have one, they didn't want to talk about it, and they bring one, like, are you going to sign that? And I was like, hell yeah, and I just sign it and say, this movie sucks. And they would love it, and like, that's the truth. And so I found out about Dragon Ball Super, and I got really excited, and I called Chris Sabat, who is the real Piccolo in Dragon Ball, the whole Dragon Ball Z, and he's also Vegeta, and he directs all of the actors in the voiceover. And he become a friend. So I called up Chris and I said, dude, you guys are doing another Dragon Ball. Can I have like 5 lines? Can I be like the mailman or something? Like, I don't care, just get me a Dragon Ball so I can get some redemption for this film. And he's like, well, let's find out. And he flew me to the studios in Texas, to Funimation in Texas. And he put me through the paces for about 2 hours, sent me home, and I didn't hear from him for like 2 months. And I thought, I can't even be a mailman. And he called me up and offered me his office. And I did it for free. I wanted it to be just an apology for the movie. And he said, that's illegal, James. We can't do that. And I was like, well, what if I'm not credited? What if we make a fake name? And he was like, actually, that would work. And so he got all excited. He got this app on his phone that rearranges the letters of your name into a new name, gives me a call, and goes, it's perfect. You want to hear it? And I'm like, yeah.
Hi. Oh, wow, I don't usually use one of these.
Isn't it awesome?
It's weird. I'm not used to being this loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm usually just loud on my own.
You get used to it real quick.
I guess so. But since no one's trying to properly embarrass you, I want to know what's the most foolish way you've ever injured yourself?
Okay, yeah, that one. So, yeah, like any idiot can do a stunt and go to the hospital. Like that one's not hard, you know. Yeah, so when you get injured, you try not to show it. You try not to let anybody know. So, there was a gag in the 3rd season of Buffy. It's only one episode of that season, and Spike is drunk, he falls asleep outside, and he's only woken up because the sun's lighting his hand on fire. And I wanted that gag, because I wanted the shot where it's the hand to my sleeping face, and what Spike's face looks like when he's like sleeping, he's realizing, am I dreaming? I'm not dreaming, I'm on fire! You know, I think that would be fun. And they explained to me that I couldn't do that gag because it's the most dangerous stunt in all of Hollywood. It's an unprotected burn gag. So usually when you see a character on fire in film, it's actually their clothes that are on fire, and they have a whole suit on underneath it to protect themselves. But this one, they dump your hand in protective gel, and then they dump your hand in the fuel, and then they light you on fire. Oh my God. And they told me that we went back and forth about it. And finally, at the end of the shooting, they said, well, you know, that scene is the last of yours, and you're not in the rest of the season, so like if you want to hurt yourself, go for it, you know, like idiot, you know. And so I did the gag, and I was an idiot. They told me I had 4 seconds to get from when they lit it on fire in action to get up and put it underneath a little waterfall that was on the set to put it out. And I was like, man, that's not enough time. I want that reaction. That's why I'm doing this. I want that moment. So I let it go for like probably 8. And I put it out, I saw it cut, and then my hand started to tingle, and I was like, well, okay, I think I got away with that. Let's see what happens. And they called they wanted one more. But I didn't want to tell him. I was hurt, so we lit me up again. And I remember not wanting anyone to know that I was so stupid, so I was trying to get off the set, and my hand is just blistering. It's like all of this is just getting covered in blisters. And I'm trying to get off the set so I can go to the emergency room. But it's my only episode, so everyone wants to say goodbye. Oh, we loved having you, James. Oh, we hope to see you again, James. Oh, you always wonderful, James. And I was just like, so yeah, it took longer than I wanted to get to the hospital. Yeah.
Right over here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Where are you, man? There we go.
You had a lot of really good one-liners in Buffy and Angel. Do you have a favorite or one that's quoted to you often? And can you say it with the Spike accent?
No, I don't do it anymore. Forgot now. Only British if you pay me, love. Out for a walk. Out for a walk, bitch. 3 times to the right.
We'll go right here in the middle. When we're getting to the next person, at what point did you find out you were going to be moving over to Angel? Was it before the series finale of Buffy or afterwards?
Well before.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that I was going over to the Angel, and it leaked because we were on separate networks.
Yeah.
And so WB announced me over on Angel before they had a chance to kill me off on Buffy, and the people on Buffy got really mad because they were trying to break everybody's heart. Okay, that was a big deal. Yeah. But I knew. I was like, yeah, Sarah, I'll be back. Yeah, you don't love me, but I'm not really dead.
Hello, James. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
So, as far as embarrassing things go, because I never did something like this, but are you single and are you looking? Because I'm available.
You are super cute, darling. I am getting divorced.
Well, I'm right here for you. So.
I'm on a serious rebound right now. I'm not dating right now. I'm trying to figure myself out, frankly. I got a lot of figuring to do before I go back into that pool. I don't want to hurt myself like I've been hurting myself before. But you're very cute.
Thank you.
And we're going to go someone in the back right over here.
Didn't work. I'm not
At least I tried.
Hello. Question is about Harry Dresden.
Yeah.
That's fantastic that you do that, and I'm glad that you still do it. Why did Jim Butcher replace you with John Gber?
I was in, and I loved Harry Dresden books. I get so into it when I'm reading them, like if it sounds like I'm crying, it's because I'm crying. I get embarrassed about it one time. Like there's one scene, it takes place in Chichen Itza with Susan. I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't read it, but super sad scene, and I can't get through it. I'm like, and then I picked up the knife.
Aww.
And so I was struggling through it, and I was super embarrassed because guys don't cry and all of that. And I finally finished the chapter, and I look up, and the director, who's a guy, goes, "That was really good. Let's take 10 minutes, man. I need a little break." Thank you. But the reason that they had John do one ghost story, I think it was, which I've re-recorded, by the way, is that I was in Lithuania playing Buzz Aldrin when they called. And I told them, you have to wait until I get back. And they said, fine. But while I was playing Buzz Aldrin, I got cast as a cowboy in a cowboy movie that was shooting in Romania, in all places. And I told my manager called them and said, you're gonna have to wait longer, at which point they said, we have a deadline, we can't. And so they had John do that. And then they got ripped apart at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, they got booed off stage. So no, it was good because they came back and they realized they wanted me after all. So, yeah, until Harry is dead or I'm dead, I'll be doing the rest. Yeah.
We have one right here, and we have time for one more right after that.
What is your favorite part of playing Spike?
In all honesty, probably the stunts. Yeah, I love stunt work. I came from the stage where you don't get a stunt man, and so I was very proud in the beginning. I would be like, I've got this, get away. And Steve Tartaglia was the other person who played Spike, the stunt man for Spike. I just love, one of the things I love about acting is that I know that this is not real, but you guys are gonna buy it. Like, we're not really gonna cut off Macbeth's head tonight. It's a watermelon, but it's gonna splash all over the stage red, and you guys scream every night. It's so I feel like I'm a con man. You guys are my mark. But it's a good con because I'm not trying to con you out of anything. I'm trying to con you into accepting a gift, which is the story and the vicarious roller coaster ride that you get if you buy all the gags. So stunts are that all the time. And then I realized, oh my God, in Hollywood you're doing all these stunts on concrete. Like I can't. Sometimes I can't even watch movies. Like when you know what they're doing, I feel nauseous. Like everyone's like, "Yay!" I'm like, some of those gags are really. You can tell that the stuntmen really ate it for that one. Stunts are like football. You don't have to go to the hospital every Sunday evening, but you're not walking very well Monday morning, kind of thing, and it adds up. So when I see a stuntman take a big fall, I'm like, wow, that's 5 years off your career. That being said, you know, when you're working with a stunt crew, all of whom are triple black belts and could kill you in seconds, you never are hanging out with more humble, peaceful, happy people. Because they know if anything happens, we're fine. You know, like we're not afraid. There's no fear in them because they're deadly. But they're just really hardworking, wonderful people. No ego at all. And it's kind of like dancing, except you take a lot of beating. You know, it's kind of like it's a combination between dance and a mosh pit, I guess. And I just love it. I just always have. I did too many of my own stunts. I don't do all of my stunts. Like I don't do hopefully any more stunts because I'm too old to do that. But I used to go to stunt coordinators on day one when I met them, and I'd be like, okay, this is me, black belt, then to the waist, green belt, and then to my feet, boom. Like if you have me in a close-up, I can look like Bruce Lee. If you have me waist up, I can get it done. Meat and potato stuff, I can get all that done for you. If you want me doing triple backflips, triple, flying off walls and big falls and stuff, get Steve. Yeah, so Steve was a maniac. He was the most used Caucasian actor / stuntman in Hong Kong before he came over to do Buffy. And in Hong Kong, they don't have any safety regulations. And when he showed me, like we performers, we have what we call our reel, which is, so for an actor, it's all my emotional scenes or whatever makes me look cool or whatever. Well, the stuntman is the best gags. And he showed me his reel, and I got nauseous. I was just like, oh my God, because they were fighting outside of this building. You know how they put the trestle on the outside, when they're working on a building, and these guys were like 30 stories up, fighting on the trestle, falling through the trestle, continuing the fight, breaking glass, and there's no ropes. And Steve said, "There's no ropes." They were just free fall. They just did it. I was like, oh my God. But he was willing to do stunts on Buffy that no other stuntman in Hollywood was willing to do. Like really crazy stuff. And I was able to do more stunts than most actors. And I think that's why the gags work for Spike. Yeah.
All right, and then our final question.
Hello. Someone actually took my question, which was, what is your favorite line from Buffy? I can tell you mine.
Please.
Comes from an episode that I actually, for the past 15 years, watch every Thanksgiving. I watch Pangs. It is a tradition, and probably close to 20 years. And my favorite line is from that episode, which is, Bear, you made a bear. Undo it, which is my favorite line. But my question is, I actually remember one of your I don't know if it was one of your first roles, but your very small role in House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
Which I actually won a trivia thing for that, saying who played that role. I said, that was John Gber, of course. Do you have any memories? How did you get into that small role, and do you have any memories from that film?
Yeah, that was during Buffy, and my agent said, I just got the most ridiculous offer. It's for a movie, but there's only like 3 lines. I'm going to turn it down. And I was like, well, who's in it? And they're like, Jeffrey Rush. I was like, take it. And I did that movie because I wanted to meet Jeffrey Rush. I just saw, I think he'd just gotten the Oscar for his first film at that time. And he was just amazing. It was a piano movie or something like that. Shine. Yeah. So that was it. Loved working with Lisa Loeb, who was a pop star at the time. Married Frank Zappa's son. And she kept telling me she was gonna barf on me because we had these scenes on a roller coaster. And she was like, I am totally gonna barf on you. I told you like every single time when we went around, and I was like, not now. You can do it on the next one, but not now.
You filmed that at Universal Orlando it was on the Hulk coaster.
It was on the Hulk, yeah. No one had ridden it before.
Yeah.
It was just, it hadn't opened yet. And so like we're playing characters who are watching the thing fall apart, so we're terrified in the movie. But the reality is this thing was untested. So there's not a lot of acting going on. Okay. My first role in film was Northern Exposure, which was a television show. And it happened to be shooting in Seattle, where I was doing theater. And what? There we go. And luckily, I only had these monosyllabic lines. The gag was the lead character, Joel, just got dumped by his girlfriend. He's lonely, and he's trying to start a conversation with a bellhop who will not really start a conversation with him at all. He's just like giving him, you know. So Joel's like spilling his heart, and all the lines are, yes sir, yeah, okay. And then I leave, that's it. And it's a very, very funny scene. But I remember I was so grateful that I didn't have any real lines because I was having an out-of-body experience. Because that camera, Northern Exposure was a hit, and there was like 20 million people behind that lens that were all staring at me, you know. And if I had to say more than I had to say, I don't know if I would have been able to do that. But the scene turned out really well, and the next season they cast me as a different character with a lot of lines. I played the son of a preacher who was now a preacher, and his father was like an amazing preacher that everybody loved, like a legendary preacher, and he was horrible at it. He only did it because his dad did it, but he did not want to learn about anyone's feelings. He got uncomfortable about it. Another hilarious character, but yeah, that was my story.
Well, I want to thank you for being here this weekend and for taking part in this Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, James Marsters!